Hey guys, Al here with Vitalize Seed. Wanted to show this chart today. This is the nitrogen cycle. I am sure that this is not perfect, but at least it shows you a picture of the life of nitrogen, if you will, or the cycle of nitrogen, the way in which it moves throughout the atmosphere. There are a couple things that it leaves off that I will touch on in this video, but for those of you that follow Vitalize Seed, you know that we talk about nitrogen a lot, and we often use it as a talking point because we want to highlight other nutrient solubility as well, but nitrogen is the most often talked about. There's a bunch of atmospheric nitrogen. There's obviously nitrogen as it shows in this picture with the rabbit from droppings, obviously deer, any type of manure, etc. is going to go through decomposition, as you see with aerobic and anaerobic bacteria, fungi, etc. And it will then turn into ammonium, which then gets nitrified into nitrites, which very quickly turns into nitrates. Nitrates is typically known as the most readily assimilable or assimilated nitrogen. There's some research out there showing other ways ammonium can be assimilated. Also, directly microbes, like we talked about in the other video with the rhizophagy cycle, and how those forms of nitrogen are in, it gets pretty complex, like in amino acid forms and things like that. So it's less stressful to the plant versus if you put down synthetic nitrogen, which is not shown in this diagram, or if you were to put down a bunch of synthetic nitrogen, which is heavily loaded into nitrate or ammonium that's going to be converted to nitrate rather rapidly, you kind of disrupt this natural cycle. The other thing that this chart doesn't show is it does show the nitrates going back into the atmosphere, which is often referred to as volatilization. But there's also nitrate leaching, which means it's basically going out of the soil profile, and that varies depending on soil type and stuff. So the main goal we talk about a lot is keeping nitrogen in the cycle. This is why when nitrogen gets deep in the soil profile in the springtime from decomposing plant matter, such as when you're decomposing our carbon load, which is our fall cover crop food plot mix, we have mixes in the spring that are not just legume focused. So we do have legumes in there that are going to be fixing atmospheric nitrogen, but we also have root structures that go way down in to make sure that we're capturing that nitrogen that's going to be slipping out of the cycle. So again, guys, this is a really, really important thing to just get your mind wrapped around the basics of it, the nitrogen cycle. And if you can understand this, even at a high level, you understand ways you can reduce your nitrogen inputs and save money on your farm.